Hello class, we're about to start section 7.3, powers of polynomials, product of binomial conjugates. We can write xy in parentheses to the fourth as a product of powers. So we have a parenthesis xy, which we know would be xy times xy times xy times xy. Now when we multiply all of this together, it will give us x to the fourth, y to the fourth. Because we know with the same base we would add the exponents, and all of the exponents are 1. So now we have another rule. It's raising a product to a power. If n is a whole number, then a times b to the n is a to the n times b to the n. Okay, now let's go down here. Now, I am going to have to alter this definition slightly because I don't think that this was a good example to illustrate how this actually goes, but this is a very basic one. Okay, so now, with this situation here, you notice that these exponents are assumed to be 1s. So it'd be x to the 1 to the 5th, and we will multiply those exponents. So I'm going to show that here. So it'll be x to the 1 to the 5th, and then this would be y to the 1 to the 5th, which we will multiply the exponents. So it'll be x to the 5th, y to the 5th. Now we look here at b. 2 is assumed to be taken to the first power, and x also. So it'll be 2 to the 1 times 4, and x to the 1 times 4. So this would be 2 to the 4th, times x to the 4th. 2 to the 4th is 16, and it'd be 16x to the 4th. Now look here at c. Now remember, everything in this parenthesis is taken to this third power. So basically, I think it would be a little easier if we just wrote this out. Well, we could do it like this here. In parentheses, we know that negative is taken to the third power, so we know that it's still going to remain negative. This will end up being 4 to the third, p to the third. Because you know both of them are taken to the first power. So this would be negative. 4 to the third is 64. And then p to the third is just p to the third. Now we come here to d. Remember, this 2 is considered to be taken to the first power. But look, you notice that everything in this parenthesis is taken to the fourth power. So what happens to a negative when it's taken to an even exponent? It becomes positive, right? So we could disregard the negative sign because we know its result is going to be positive. So this would be 2 to the 4th times y to the what? Y to the what? To the 24th. Remember, we multiply the exponents. So it'll be 2 to the 4th, which is 16, and then y to the 24th. That is the final answer for that problem. Remember, when you take a power to a power, you multiply. Now it says the expressions 5x squared and 5x parentheses squared are not the same, which we already did that. But 5x squared is just 5x squared. 5x in parentheses squared would be 25x squared, because the 5 is also squared. Now it says here, when we write x plus y in parentheses squared, we mean x plus y times x plus y. You do not, because these are two separate terms, you do not square the x and square the y. You only do that if it's a monomial, which we covered in all of the other problems we had. If there's an addition or subtraction sign, you have to write out the parentheses as such. So I'll rewrite this. So this is what this is equal to. We don't need to multiply this out because, well, we could go ahead. So this would be x times x plus x times y plus y times x plus y times y. X times x is x squared. X times y is xy. Y times x, we have to write this in alphabetical order. It becomes x times y. And y times y becomes y squared. So this will end up giving us x squared plus 2xy plus y squared. That would be the final answer. Okay, now, go on to the next page. Now it says here, squaring a binomial. We have x plus y squared, in parentheses, and x minus y squared. You know this would be x plus y times x plus y. And this would be x minus y times x minus y. Okay, so now we will apply this to these other problems here, but as you all know, we will have to multiply them out. Okay, so now we will have x minus 4 times x minus 4, because this is x minus 4 parentheses squared. So now we will have x squared minus 4x plus 16. As you all know, this is the distributive property. We don't have to show every step every time. So this would be x squared minus 8x plus 16. And that would be your final answer. Now we come here to b. This would be 3x plus 2 times 3x plus 2. So we'll take 3x times 3x, which is 9x squared. 3x times 2, 6x. 2 times 3x is 6x. And 2 times 2 is 4. So it'll be 9x squared plus 12x plus 4. And now we go on here to C. It'll be 2a plus 5b times 2a plus 5b. Now we will multiply. 2a times 2a is 4a squared. 2a times 5b is 10ab. 5b times 2a is 10ab. And 5b times 5b is 25b squared. So now we have 4a squared plus 20ab plus 25b squared. That is the final answer. Okay, now look at D. There's a little add-in to D. We have this 3 on the outside. So what we need to do, like we did before, let's concentrate on the parentheses. So we have 5x squared minus 1 times 5x squared minus 1. 5x squared times 5x squared is 25x to the 4. 5x squared times the negative 1 is negative 5x squared. Negative 1 times 5x squared is a negative 5x squared. And negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. Now, we combine like terms. We have 25x to the 4th minus 10x squared plus 1. Now, we would take these values here and multiply it by the 3 we had in the original problem. 3 times 25x to the 4th is 75x to the 4th. 3 times a negative 10x squared will give us a negative 30x squared. And 3 times 1 is 3. So that is our final answer. Now we scroll down here to the warning. The warning is basically what we've been doing. I told you all we have an addition or subtraction sign. You do not square the individual portions. You have to, actually this should have been written out as x plus 6, and then that will give you this answer here. Okay, so now, we go on to the next page. It says let f of x equals x squared minus 3x plus 1. Find a minus 4. Find f of a minus 4. So what this is saying is we're going to replace x with a minus 4. So it'll be f of a minus 4 is equal to a minus 4 squared minus 3 times a minus 4 plus 1. Now we know with this a minus 4 parentheses squared, we can write that off to the side. We have a minus 4 times a minus 4. This will give us a squared minus 4a minus 4a plus 16. So this will give us a squared minus 8a plus 16. Now this will replace the a minus 4 in parentheses squared. So it'll be a squared minus 8a plus 16. Now we would take this negative 3 times a minus 4. This would be a negative 3a plus 12 plus 1. Now, we want to combine the like terms. So we have f of a minus 4. We have a squared. Negative 8a minus 3a is a negative 11a. We have 16 plus 12 is 28 plus 1 is 29. So this is your final answer. Are there any questions? Okay, so now go down here to example 4. Basically the same setup, but it's a little bit more to it. It says we want to write this here in standard form with f of x is equal to this here. Basically what we want to do is take this parenthesis, square it, and then combine like terms and multiply it by 2. So we could get it in this form here. And you can replace the f of x with g of x. So it'll be g of x is equal to negative 2 times x plus 3 times x plus 3 plus 4. Now we could go off to the side and do the x plus 3 times the x plus 3. So x times x is x squared, x times 3 is 3x, 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 3 is 9. So this will give us x squared plus 6x plus 9. So then we will have negative 2 times x squared plus 6x plus 9, and then plus 4. So now we will multiply this by negative 2 to give us negative 2x squared, well, it's supposed to be minus 12x minus 18 plus 4. So now we would combine like terms and it'd be negative 2x squared minus 12x, and negative 18 plus 4 would give us a negative 14. So this would be our final answer. Any questions? Okay, now we have our next page here. Now basically with example 5, they say find the product. We've covered this before. This is the multiplication of the difference of two squares after it's been factored. And like I said, if you have a binomial times a binomial, one has addition, one has subtraction. You multiply the first two, and you multiply the last two, and you're done. Same thing here. This would be 16x squared plus 9. Minus 9. Should be minus 9. So it'd be 16x squared minus 9. Remember, you multiply the first two and the last two. And then it says product of binomial conjugates. Basically, you will multiply the first two and multiply the last two. And then that's it. Okay, now we have some more here. Multiply the first two, it would be 25x squared. The last two would give you a minus 9. Now, if you look here, we can multiply this. The first two would be x squared. The second two would give us minus 4.